This was the beginning of our journey back home. When you look at a map, you just see a road and you have no idea what the terrain's going to look like. And boy, were we surprised on this road. By this time, we were used to seeing mountains and dense forests, but we had no idea there were so many glaciers on this road. This road turned out to be the second most beautiful road of the trip, right after that road from Banff to Jasper. These glaciers were all coming from the Wrangell St. Elias National Park, America's largest national park. In fact, it's the same size as Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Switzerland combined. It's covered year-round with snow as it's cloaked with ice fields and glaciers, and it contains America's largest subpolar ice field. We saw our share of road construction on this trip, and this was a typical example where you would follow a pilot car for a few miles or a lot of miles until you got past the construction. To get to Haines, Alaska, we had to cross back through the Yukon and British Columbia, Canada. Here, Meg practiced sneaking across the border. We pulled off the road many times at the turnouts just to enjoy the beauty and to take some pictures. This was the part of the trip where we got to see some grizzly bears. In Haines Junction, we enjoyed some cool rain. As we left Haines Junction, we took this picture of the road behind us. The road came alongside this beautiful lake, and there was a sign for a campground. So we pulled off and drove through the campground for all of our RV friends to see. We stopped and unloaded a couple of chairs and sat on the sandy beach of the lake. In fact, it's the only time we got the chairs out on the whole trip. Down the road a bit, we saw a sign where you could drive several miles down to a river where possibly the salmon might be running on some First Nation land. Also, it was a chance to get off-road in my Jeep. We read where this area had the highest population of grizzly bears in all of Canada. But they may have been seeing us, but we did not see them. At our next stop, we hiked a short ways to see another great waterfall. In fact, we saw so much water on this trip, we wished we could bring some back to our dried up creeks. The road rose to a summit and then started the descent down to sea level at Haines. We crossed back into the U.S. for the final time. We checked out the historic building on the border and noticed how you can look down the border where decades ago both countries cut all the trees along the border so you could tell where the border was. We dropped on down into Haines, which is at sea level, and to our lodge, which overlooked the water where the cruise ships come by. We drove around the area checking out the sights, including this glacier that had a waterfall that must have been 1,000 feet long. On our last day in Haines, we checked out a local lake and saw the salmon fishermen, but we didn't see anybody catch anything.